Welcome to Mr. Night Terrors, the place where nightmares come to life and fear creeps into every corner of your mind. Today, we enter the shadows of Houston, Texas, a city that hides secrets so dark that they will make you hesitate to close your eyes tonight. I bring you 3 true stories, 3 horror stories that not only happened, but remain unanswered. A bloodbath in a romantic corner, a triple murder that shattered the calm after a hurricane, and the mystery of 2 women with the same name, marked by a fatal fate. Turn off the lights, turn up the volume, and get ready, because what they are about to hear will not let them sleep. Let's get started. Story 1. The Lover's Lane Murders. I'm Shane Craig, Cheryl Henry's sister. It was a sweltering night in August 1990 in Houston. The air was heavy with moisture, and Cheryl, my 22-year-old younger sister, went out with her boyfriend Andy Atkinson, 21. We'd been on a double date together that night, laughing and dancing at Bayou Mama's club. But around 11 a.m., they decided to go to a more private place, Lover's Lane, near Enclave Parkway and Eldridge, a place known for being a refuge for young couples. I told them we'd see you later, but I never saw Cheryl alive again. The next day, the phone didn't stop ringing at home. Cheryl hadn't returned, and my gut was screaming at me that something was wrong. We called the police, and hours later, a security guard gave us the blood-chilling news. Andy's car was abandoned, with fresh red stains splattered on the inside. The search dogs arrived at dusk and guided us into a nearby forest. There, among the trees, I found a scene that still haunts me. Cheryl and Andy, tied with ropes to twisted logs, their throats torn open as if someone had wanted to silence them forever. Cheryl had been raped, her torn clothes hanging like a macabre trophy. Andy was nearly decapitated, his head hanging barely by a thread of skin. And the worst. Next to him, a broken golf club and 3 deflated balloons floating in the still air, as if the murderer had wanted to laugh at us. Imagine that for a second. The balloons bobbing over their mutilated bodies, the silence of the forest broken only by the buzzing of the insects. What sick mind leaves a signature like that? What did he want to tell us? I spent years searching for answers. Police found DNA at the scene, linked to an unsolved rape months earlier, but the trail vanished. Some say it was someone from the club, a customer obsessed with Cheryl, who worked there as a waitress. Others believe it was a stranger, a predator that lurked in the night. Today, with family DNA technology, there is a spark of hope, but the killer is still at large. Every night, I close my eyes and see Cheryl, begging me to find her, and I swear I won't stop until I do. Story 2. The Murders of the 3 Real Estate Brokers. I am Sarah Ivy Edwards, daughter of Francis Ivy. On August 19, 1983, Houston was on its knees after Hurricane Alice. Uprooted trees blocked the streets, the wind still moaning between the shattered houses. My mother, Frances, 60, worked at the real estate office of Shoemate & Co. at 16,007 Memorial Drive, alongside Elizabeth Shoemate, 54, and Joanne Brown, 46. They were strong, fighting women who helped families find a home. But that day, someone decided that they didn't deserve to live. I got the call at sunset. Police said they had found all 3 executed, a clean shot to the head of each one, as if they were cattle. The office was upside down, files ripped out, chairs overturned, a pool of blood clotting on the linoleum floor. But there was no lack of money, or jewelry, or anything of value. Only their lives. I stared at the phone, imagining my mother begging, her hands shaking as that monster pulled the trigger. She, who always hugged me after a storm, was now just another victim in the midst of the chaos. Can you imagine? 3 women alone, thinking that the day was over, and suddenly, a gun in his face. What goes through your head at that moment? Scream? Do you close your eyes? The police never found a clear motive. A customer furious over a failed deal? A psychopath taking advantage of the hurricane's mess? More than 40 years have passed, and the case is still cold. In 2020, Crime Stoppers offered $15,000 for information, and they are reviewing DNA with new technology. My sister Helen and I have shouted their names in every interview, begging for justice. Sometimes I feel my mother in the room, her perfume floating in the air, as if to say, "Don't give up, Sarah." And I won't. Story 3. The Mary Morris Murders. I'm Marilyn Blaylock, daughter of Mary Lou Morris. On October 12, 2000, my mother, a 48-year-old loan analyst, walked out of our home in Baytown, Houston, with her cup of coffee in her hand and a smile. He told me that he would be late from work, not to worry. But he never returned. That night, an ATV driver called the police. He had found a burning car on a rural road with a charred body inside. It was my mother. Her remains were so fragile that they used fragments of teeth to identify her. 3 days later, on October 16, another Mary Morris, Mary McGinnis Morris, 39, was found dead in her car in northwest Houston. They had beaten her until she was disfigured and shot in the head. 2 Mary Morris, murdered days apart, in the same city. My mother, a sweet woman who baked cookies on Sundays. The other Mary, a nurse who saved lives. Coincidence? The police say there's no connection, but I don't think so. In a city of millions, 2 women with the same name, murdered in their cars, with blood-curdling violence. My family thinks it was a mistake. A hitman hired to kill a Mary Morris, and my mother paid the price for having the wrong name. Think about it. What if the killer made a mistake? What if my mother died for a contract that wasn't even for her? That idea keeps me up at night. We have investigated everything. His work, his friends, his enemies. Nothing fits. The other Mary had a complicated marriage, but my mother did not. We appeared on TV programs, begging for clues, but the case is frozen. Sometimes, I look out the window and feel like she's there, whispering to me to keep going. And I will, until someone pays for what was done to her. 3 stories, 3 open wounds in the heart of Houston. The Lovers Lane murders, with their balloons hovering over death. The 3 real estate brokers, silenced after the storm. And the Mary Morris, an enigma that defies all logic. These cases remind us that terror doesn't always come from the supernatural. Sometimes, it is in the hands of the living. If you know anything about these crimes, write it down below. If you have your own horror stories, please share them with us. Subscribe to Mr. Night Terrors for more tales that will drag you into the darkness. Until next time, watch the shadows. You never know who might be watching.